Uncle Ron stuff. Advertisement. This is my book, Trifocals One Man's View. It is available on Amazon and other locations. Any place you can buy a book, you can buy this thing. It's also available in ebook format, and it will have the audio book soon. What I thought I'd do is read one of those stories. There's, I think, 31 different stories, short stories, and muses. It is not political nor religious. Here's sort of the table of contents. I don't know why the top start getting the grief. Didn't like the book. Sure. Okay, so I was going to read one of these, and I haven't really decided which one to do. Let me do a fiction. They're all varied. There are 31 stories and muses, but I'm going to do one here, and it's called, this is the book again, which fades out terribly bad because it is grain. It's called The Horse. Hopefully, I've never tried to read out loud to somebody else, so, yeah. Anyway, I was trying to give you a taste of what the book, what you might find in the book that might be of interest. This is called The Horse. The horse came to me in a dream. It was a very strange dream. It was not about something I did yesterday or had ever done, or even a place I'd ever been to. I was in Cairo, lost in a centuries-old bazaar filled with small shops that had all manner of Egyptian tourist reproductions, giant rugs, brass lanterns, restaurants, and many other items, large and small. There was a maze of alleys and avenues, some even underground. In the dream, I was really there. I had no idea why, but I was simply amazed. The place was so real and full. As I walked along, sometimes I would stop and look, or maybe even enter a shop and browse. My interest seemed to be in ancient items, of which there were many. Not fake, every store shopkeeper claimed, as this or that was 500 BC, or maybe not as old as 400 AD. Alabaster carvings, amulets, cartouches in gold and precious stones, and lots of King Tutankhamun, even with his likeness on dinner plates. Mostly I simply walked and marveled at the place as it seemed endless, stretching in all directions. I came across a coffee shop on an avenue or wider thoroughfare and sat down. Ordered tea and lit a cigarette. Please, sir, tea will be free if I can have one of your cigarettes. I gave him two. Big mistake. Apparently everything is watched by everyone in the bazaar, and upon giving the waiter two, a stream of people offered this or that for just one of my American-made cigarettes. I gave and gave until I only had two left for myself. After I'd hand-signaled no more, I sat quietly for a while, watching the stream of people moving back and forth with only a few tourists. But then a man approached from around the corner of some alley ahead and came directly to me. Sir, I think you should come see this. Come with me. No, that's okay. I'm not really sure why I'm here, and I really don't need anything. Sir, my shop has many fine old pieces. Not fakes like you see here. Very special, very old. Yes, I'm sure you have a fine shop, but no thanks. He walked away. I finished the tea and began walking again in the direction of the man who'd had the very fine shop. When I reached the alley he had come out of, I turned and started down it. More shops offering the same and more. Kitchen faucets, cabinet handles of all shapes and sizes, and even robes, hats, t-shirts. I walked on. Then one shop had locked glass cases in the front, and inside the cases were various Shabastis, or small clay figurines. These figurines were a common item in any tomb, and there must have been thousands of them in Egypt over the centuries. But I was drawn to the magnitude in the case, with each having a date associated with it of at least 1000 BC or older. I went inside the shop. The man who had come and asked me to follow him appeared from behind a curtain. "Ah, yes, you come anyway. Good. You like figurines?" "All old, I guarantee." "I don't know. I'm just looking, thank you." "I open a case for you. I show you whatever you want." "No, that's not necessary, but thanks." The shop owner turned and went behind the curtain again, leaving me alone. As I looked at the figurines, I also began looking around the shop. Every available inch of the small shop's walls had shelves holding some item or another, and then I noticed a small horse high up on one shelf. For some reason, it seemed out of place, as if it did not belong in the shop. It appeared to be brown clay, very well formed, with many small holes in it. I moved to the shelf and gently picked up the horse. It was light, obviously hollow, but when I moved my two hands to turn the horse to see it all, I began to hear blowing winds. The strangest winds, old winds, if there is such a thing, and as I moved my one hand or the other, the winds would strengthen or subside as my hands covered various holes in the body. I felt as if I were those winds, blowing across the expanse of the Egyptian desert thousands of years ago. I was only wind. A chill went through me. 5000 BC. "Sir, you want to buy?" I was startled. "Did you hear that? The winds?" "Very fine piece. I just got it in shop. Very old. You want to buy?" "Did you hear the winds?" "Sir, do you want to buy?" I put the clay horse back on the shelf and walked out. I was in a daze of some kind, and it took a minute, a year, or a century for me to physically return to my body and head back to buy the horse. I retraced my steps and found the shop quickly. "Ah, you come back." "Yes, I want to buy the horse." "Oh, most sorry, I just sold it." "What?" "I just sold the horse." "Was it American?" "No, sir." "But I have many fine figurines. Come, you look, I show you." "No, the horse. Who did you sell it to?" "Sir, I do not know." Gone. The horse was gone. I stood out the shop looking for anyone carrying anything, but nothing. The horse was gone. I woke up out of the dream. I have now visited Egypt 4 times looking for the brown clay horse with small holes in it. Of course, I visited the Cairo Bazaar every time, but even after 4 trips, I'm not sure I've actually seen all the shops in the bazaar. But I continue to look and ask about the horse. Sometimes, when I am in the bazaar, I ask myself, why didn't I simply respond yes when "you want to buy it" was asked? Oh, just a dream, you say. But that clay horse is more than a dream. It is real, and it's out there somewhere. I seem compelled to find it and own it more than anything I've ever desired. Alexandria, Giza, Luxor, Aswan, and most of the smaller cities and all the museums, large and small, but no brown clay horse with holes. Oh, you're the man asking about the horse. I have become known through much of Egypt. Once in Cairo, I mentioned my horse to my guide, and the next day he took me to a pottery shop where overnight the owner and his staff had made 30 or 40 different clay horses of various sizes. But no, sorry, this was old, had holes in it, made sound. I felt bad about all the work that had been done, and I told my guide he had misunderstood. There was only one clay horse with holes in it, and it had winds, ancient winds in it somehow. I'm old now, too old for another Egypt trip, and my hope of ever seeing, holding, hearing, and feeling a clay horse is fading. Oh, I can be back there in that small shop so long ago, anytime I want in my mind, and even now there is an afterglow of what I felt holding the horse, the ancient winds of 5000 BC. In searching for the horse, I rode down riverboats on the Nile for miles and miles, climbed my way inside the Great Pyramid and sat one of the base stones for a long time. Went underground to visit a Coptic church and was very spiritually moved. Visited a mosque, Valley of the Kings. Learned that all stonework was done by various teams from rough to fine. Hieroglyphs, rode camels, and like a bird, rode the thermals on the high desert plain overlooking Giza. Saw mummies of all types, including crocodile in the Cairo Museum, and even King Tut's linen condom. Met many nice people, some tourists, but mostly Egyptians, with many recognizing me and commenting that I was at least 3,000 years old. I own a large alabaster lidded jar from 400 AD or so, which is not very old, but which contains 3 smaller lidded jars. All the smaller jars are filled with windblown dust and sand from my travels in Egypt. Own it? I've wondered over the years where the horse dream came from. Why even have such a dream? What was it all about? Owning? I experienced a horse and it left its imprint on me, but perhaps the horse could never be owned by anyone, just some artifact popping out of the afterlife now and again. No, never owned like the wind. Why do I want to own it so badly? Own. To own as to have a piece of magic. Can I own it so I use it anytime I want? Own as to show off to friends? Own as to constantly worry about it being stolen or simply dropped and broken? Could it have been mine 5,000 years ago? Could I have been its maker? Own. And what do we ever really own? Pharaohs owned everything and even tried to take a lot with them to the afterlife, only for most of it to be looted, sold as scrap, or to some tourists, or put in some museum in England or elsewhere. I saw a movie once where the tribe, somewhere far from what we call civilization, had no concept of ownership. Everything was communal, and when ownership came to the tribe, it resulted in conflict. Own. I own my dream. I own the experience I had with the brown clay horse. I know, you say, just a dream. And perhaps you're right. It was just a small clay horse with holes that had ancient winds in it somehow. If you ever see it, experience it, please let the man asking about the horse know. I no longer need to own it. I just want to confirm what I felt, know to be true. Ancient winds of an ancient time. That's one of the stories in Uncle Ron and Stuff book. I don't know if you liked the story or not, but that was the story. That's Uncle Ron's Stuff for today, and this is the 18th of February.